Welcome to Dabbler in a Box, Season 1. My name is Zach. We're here at the Rathskeller at the Schmidt Brewing Complex in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're about to take you on a drinking tour of the upper Midwest featuring 11 beers and 1 cider. Since this is our first time ever doing Dabbler in a Box, we figured we'd crack open the box, show you how it works. First things first, the beer. Inside Dabbler in a Box Season 1, you'll find a mixture of 12 16-ounce cans and 1 crowler from one of our featured breweries, Falling Knife. Now that we know how the box is going to work, here's how the video series is going to work. Every episode, we're going to take you on a tour of 3 different breweries. We're going to talk to the brewers a little bit about their story, the history of their brewery, a little bit about some tasting notes for the beers that they submitted for Dabbler in a Box, and we're also going to have them let you know what's coming from them on tap rooms and liquor store shelves. And make sure to stick around. At the end of every episode, we're going to be featuring live entertainment in the form of art, comedy, or live music. Live music and beer, they go hand in hand, and in no place more so than Northeast Minneapolis. That's where we're headed today for our first episode of Dabbler in a Box Season 1. We're going to be starting at the intersection of Central and Lowry in Northeast with Fair State Brewing Cooperative.
Hi, I'm Nico. I'm the head brewer at Fair State Brewing Cooperative here in Northeast Minneapolis, and also at St. Paul Midway. Fair State is a cooperatively owned brewery, which is pretty rare. There are a handful of us. We opened Labor Day of 2014 here in Northeast Minneapolis at our original location, which is the little brewery you can see behind me. We opened our production facility in St. Paul in 2017. One of the cool things about us is that we are member owned, meaning that anyone can walk in off the street, and if they meet the qualifications, which are pretty lax, you just have to live in Minnesota and be 21, you can buy a share of the company. It really drives a lot of things that we do, having plus or minus 2,000 owners. When we started out, it was a collection of our friends and acquaintances and family and people that we could beg for money. We were surprised and really encouraged by how many people we didn't know and had never met were willing to join the co-op all the way back in 2013, 2014. So we've been floored since day one by how willing people are to support a local business like us. In Dabbler in a Box Season 1, we're offering Crank and Foamers, which is a 4.5% alcohol corn lager brewed in collaboration with Modern Times beer from San Diego and other points on the West Coast. The name, it's a San Diego original phrase for drinking beers. I was in Portland, Oregon at the Modern Times facility hanging out with my buddy Matt, who runs that place, and he just said the phrase Crank and Foamers, and I was like, oh man, A, that's an amazing thing to call drinking a beer, and B, we absolutely need to make a beer called Crank and Foamers. It's one of those names where you may have never heard the phrase, but as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, Crank and Foamers. And then you're just like, next weekend you're gonna be Crank and Foamers, So when you're drinking a Crank and Foamers, the first thing you'll note, it is a delightful cold beer. That's sort of the most important facet of Crank and Foamers. The fun things about this beer is that as opposed to the other lagers that we make, so Pils being our sort of flagship lager, that's crafted with entirely continental European ingredients. The idea with Crank and Foamers was to do the same sort of intentional turn, but with 100% American ingredients. We really care a lot about process with this beer. So it's old school cereal mash. We actually take corn grits and we boil them for a while, and then we add mash to it. It's a really old school way to make beer. We lager it in a horizontal tank for an extended period of time to sort of amp up that crispiness. It's gonna be pale straw in color. You're gonna notice a nice fluffy white foam on it. The hop nose actually has more hop aroma than you would expect out of sort of like a corn macro lager. We used an interesting blend of products from YCH hops. It's called Pacific Crest. And to me, it's a little bit like, it's got like hints of like Fruity Pebbles or like Smarties or something, which is a very interesting sort of subtle hop twist to get on a beer like that. It's like crisp, clean, dry, easy to drink, foamy, and delightful. One of the fun things that we announced, we are actually going to be doing our best to expand our taproom footprint here in Northeast. We'll be able to do double the number of beers we have on tap, to do a bunch of fun new programming. We're gonna expand our to-go business. We're gonna try to buy a small canning line that's actually devoted to filling crowlers. The oddity of Minnesota law means that we can't sell 4-packs to you directly, but we're trying to make that crowler package a little bit more professional, have a longer shelf life, and make sure that we don't sell out of exciting beers when they come out. Last year, we did a very limited batch of Double Universe, which was a double dry hop, double IPA version of our flagship hazy IPA, Mirror Universe. This year, Double Universe returns in liquor stores. We're gonna do a fair amount of it. Another on the sort of other end of the beer spectrum, we recently started doing some distribution in Texas. I used to be a brewer down in Texas at a place called Live Oak. They're famous for their Hefeweizens and their lagers. We actually are doing a package collaboration with Live Oak. It's called Jiggle Proofer. It's gonna be a extra jiggly wheat lager, hoppy wheat lager. So that should be coming out in August too. And then, as we go into fall and winter, we have our usual slate of crazy, wild December type stuff. We like to backload it and really make the end of the year exciting. Thanks for participating in Dabbler in a Box Season 1. Cheers from all of us at Fair State Co-op, and let's crank some foamers.
Can't wait to crank some foamers with my homies this summer, but we gotta move on. We got more breweries to get to. Up next, we're gonna be headed over to Hennepin Avenue. We're gonna be visiting Insight Brewing Company.
My name is Matt Anhalt. I'm the head brewer and operations manager here at Insight Brewing. This will be my 4th year here at Insight and Insight's 6th year total. My experience as a brewer is I was trained in at Harriet Brewing on Minnehaha on Lake Street in South. After that, I moved here to Insight as of August 1st. This will be my 4th year here. I spent 2 years as a brewer, and then I was fortunate enough to get the job as the head brewer. And for the last year, that includes also being operations manager. Insight Brewing started with a group of investors that came together with their shared passion for beer. The idea was to bring the world of beers here to Minneapolis. So we feature a variety of styles that are always available on our taproom board. Everything from traditional Germans to off-the-wall crazy brews that we come up with in the back area there. All of our beers have a story to them. That's kind of our shtick, is we have this traveling mystical brewer that goes to different locations around the world and brings that back here in Minneapolis. So each beer has its own story. Our brewing capacity starts with our 30-barrel production brew house. We do 30 barrels twice a day, so each day we're producing 60 barrels of beer. Each barrel is 31 gallons, so you can do the math on that one. We brew 5 days a week, so we're about 300 barrels per week, which tops us out to be somewhere near 8,000 barrels projected, maybe 9,000 this full year. Our entry into the Dabbler in a Box is our Lord of the Lock Hazy India Pale Ale.
Very popular with all the haze bros and people that just want a nice, juicy, easy drinking IPA. It's great summer beer for on a hot day on the patio. One of our best sellers.
Lord of the Lock begins with our malt selection, which is Pilsner malt, flaked wheat, flaked oats. That's mashed. In the boil kettle, we have Simcoe, Amarillo, Citra, and El Dorado. Those are going to be the hops. Those are all late addition, as this is a hazy. So this beer itself will finish very clean, but it ferments very, very fast, which gives us this really nice fruity tropical profile. Notes of melon, a little bit of honeydew, some pineapple, and some mango in the end there. Keeps a traditional hazy profile, drinks really smooth. What are we looking at for ABV? 6.3, I believe, so yeah. Things to look forward to this summer is our IPA Flashback Mix Pack, which has 4 different IPAs in there, ranging from a hazy to a double, to an American IPA, to a mega dank IPA. That's in stores right now. Also, one of our seasonals is a strawberry blonde that's out there. It's called Strawberry One Eye. That features another Norwegian yeast strain, ferments really high temps. Coming into the fall season, you'll be looking forward to our Oktoberfest beer that's coming out. We got a couple of Pilsners that are coming down the line. Kolsch is in the tank right now. Lots of good traditional stuff for us, so. Thanks for checking out our beer in Dabbler in a Box, and I hope you all have a great time. Cheers.
Cheers.
Lord of the Lock, a truly legendary hazy IPA. You can pick it up at Surdyk's or any other local liquor store. We're really excited to include this next brewery in Dabbler in a Box Season 1. They're relatively young, fresh on the scene. They're called Falling Knife Brewing Company, located off of Broadway in Northeast Minneapolis, and they've included 750 milliliters of their juicy, hazy hop bomb verbal tip.
Hey, I'm Dan Herman, Chief Revenue Officer and co-owner of Falling Knife Brewing Company here in Northeast Minneapolis. We're just a little bit east of Stinson and Broadway. Falling Knife Brewing Company started in official 2017, but previous to that, Tom, Andy, and I had been friends from the music scene here in Minneapolis. You know, just conversations started and ended up being more and more of like, hey, should we open a brewery? Then it became, well, we are opening a brewery, and then it became, well, we opened a brewery. So we opened to select bars and restaurants in early October, opened our tap room in October of 2019, and then have since been servicing people in our tap room, servicing those bars and restaurants that we had before, and recently have been selling crowlers out to liquor stores. Falling Knife Brewing Company comes from an old restaurant term, which is falling knife has no handle, so don't do the risky thing. We obviously have left some corporate jobs that we had previous to this, branched out and opened a brewery in a market that a lot of people would tell you is saturated. We personally felt like there's still room for good beer, and that's how Falling Knife became known. For Season 1 of Dabbler in a Box, we are submitting Verbal Tip, which is our Citra Mosaic Hazy IPA. Comes in at 7.3% alcohol, but drinks much smoother than that.
So right away, aroma, you're getting really like lush tropical fruit, lots of pineapple. I get a lot of mango, and then kind of the flavor same as is. You know, it's got a touch of sweetness to kind of help accentuate the hop aroma, but you're really kind of getting those tropical notes with like a nice restrained bitterness with those 20 IBUs. Very refreshing.
So as we get into the end of July here, we're really excited to announce that we are releasing 16-ounce cans for the first time. We'll be doing two brands. One will be Verbal Tip, one of our hazy IPAs. That will be your Dabbler in the Box beer. And the other beer will be Freischütz, our German Pilsner. So as we get into fall here, we're looking at our 1-year anniversary beer, which is going to be a barrel-aged barley wine, which we're really excited about. We've also got some other barrel-aged releases coming out and some other new fun beers that'll work well for the fall and the winter.
Thank you for enjoying Verbal Tip in your Dabbler in the Box Season 1. We look forward to seeing you in the Falling Knife tap room. In the meantime, I'm going to get back to playing some pinball.
You can snag a crowler from Falling Knife Brewing Company at their tap room, which has a really cool rock and roll theme. All of the guys from Falling Knife met in the local music scene, and they kind of let that show in their tap room's decor. Speaking of rock and roll, we have our featured musical guest for Dabbler in a Box Season 1, Episode 1. It's the Four on the Floor.
Music isn't a commodity. It's a craft. That's why we go to work every day, pounding the sidewalks and venue floors of communities big and small to discover, empower, and celebrate new and important voices shaping the future of music's history.
You know you've been messing with the wrong type of blood that'll spill. Your conscience is still coming clear. You know you got a bad way to explain away the bad things you've done. When ration and logic break down, there's a road that's too easily found. You know you be taking it and faking it out is the truth. Tell me what you're trying to prove. Look to the right way. Just another way to say it. Turning up different just keeps when you bend where you were back again. It just keeps on happening. You know you're taking it and riding it out again. Yeah, your paws are still scraping in, just grasping straws to begin. You know happening. Turning around again. This wasn't all pretend when you were here before. They were just knocking at your door. You could take it back till I'm out in your mind. Girl, you know what's right. Stop, 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 stop. Hoping that it's on and got. When it comes to their turn, another lesson left undone.
Thanks for tuning in to Dabbler in a Box Season 1, Episode 1. Thanks to the Four on the Floor for their rockin' tunes, and to our official retail partner, Certix Liquor, for helping us out with Dabbler in a Box. Let's tune in to our next episode, which is going to feature Twin Ports breweries from Duluth and Superior, Wisconsin.